Hello,
Over the lap.
I can't with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Expansion Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the Latin Insider Enemy, and joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, it's good to be here.
We are really giddy tonight, trying to stay up and have energy.
Oh my gosh, I got it. Why? Why do we do this to ourselves, Ed?
I think it's because we love to have fun and we'll never get to talk.
Yes, but why can't we have fun like during normal times of the day?
I really don't know. I literally just don't know. I wish we could. So, side tangent, everybody, before we get into the show.
Side tangent.
The first side tangent of the show. There are times that me and Corey record during the day, whether we're on vacation or like we just have by happenstance we're off or doing something early in the day that we are able to record. The last time we did something, even with the expansion pass, was that I think that direct, and then we was talking about we did expansion pass about Xenoblade. And how that could lead it to what the next Breath of the Wild may be and stuff. And it was just like a good time having that recording during the day and everything. Yeah,
it was fun. I wish my wife and kids would leave more. I'm kidding. That's mean.
So it's been. I think when we have one of those moments and everything, it kind of makes recording fun. Yes, we do record late at night because it's kind of like our most available time. But yeah, like I think day recording is really fun sometimes. I think it when it's stuff happening and you're in the moment, you have more to talk about, and you're on a high and you're excited to talk about it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm always excited to talk about stuff, but, I'm just... Man, I really wish we could record during the day. That's all. That's... Just because, Monday night we record a long show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wednesdays I record 2 shows. Thursdays I record 2 shows. And it all happens after, 8:30, right? Because that's...
Yes.
Hopefully by the time my kids are in bed, but it's just, man, I just want to there's some long nights in there. I gotta tell you, tonight we'll probably be up to 1:00. But cause there's spoilers, or behind the scenes, I guess, not really spoilers, but Thursday nights, I record my Destiny podcast, and then Ed and I go right into this, and we started at 11. Well, I called you at 10:30, and we BS'd, and then, if we started on time, maybe, but we never do that, so.
Yes. Especially when we don't hear from each other throughout the day or throughout the week, because, I can't say there has been some times where we haven't talked to each other at all, like weekends and.
Yeah, but you're usually working or I'm doing something with the kids. It's not like we don't mean to.
Yeah,
I try to get a hi in there once in a while, or a GIF,
Right. I try to text you to be like hi and everything, and even.
Or I'll text you when I'm really upset and say I quit. I'm quitting everything.
Or I know there definitely have been times where I feel like I have upset at you, or I did something and I apologize, and I do say sorry, and I know personally for me sometimes I definitely feel bad if I feel like I did something to you and I don't hear from you. I'm just like, I just want to let you know that I love you and I'm sorry for anything.
Ed, if you ever did anything super serious, I would tell you.
Yeah.
So you can stop. When did this become a therapy session?
uh,
I'm Ed's therapist now, everybody. I don't know if you.
I, I mean, can you actually think, actually, like, if I had to tell things about me and you was my therapist, or you was the person that had advice to give to me, that I would be shocked.
Yeah. No thanks.
I
I like the way things are.
where I'm the therapist, or
uh,
I'm the
just
supporter, I should say.
it's just I like where it's at. I like where I don't know. I like our friendship. I don't need to be a therapist. I'm not good at it. I would not want to do it, especially
Mhm.
for friends. Like, I mean, I'm all about like listening and being there for friends, but like in a therapist type role, like
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
that'd be too heavy.
Yeah.
So,
Expansion
but
pass, everybody.
yes, but Corey, we got before we get into the topic, because we got a really good topic. It's going to be a familiar one, everybody, but just roll with us on this one. We got some
Oh, you mean
Patreon
Zelda
producers to shout out.
again?
Yeah, but I think we're actually going to. So,
No, I
the,
have a theory. So I'll do the patrons real quick, and then
yes,
I have a theory that I want to get off my chest
okay,
because I've been hearing a lot of rumblings, and not just about the direct that's coming up. Which, by the way, the theoretical hypothetical direct that doesn't exist may have been delayed because the Queen of England died today. So, uh, I guess that's going to
we
put
will
this episode in a
discuss.
nice. We just timed our little bubble here.
Right, look, we will discuss.
Yeah,
Trust me.
but sad day for the country of England, and I know she meant a lot to a lot of people, and it's really sad. And I'm glad that people are taking it kind of seriously because it kind of feels
Yeah.
like as different as everybody is in this world and how it feels like one side hates another. I feel like the Queen of England was like something everybody could get behind, like,
Yes.
oh, figure. Uh, so, did you know she started out as a mechanic? Did you know that she was a mechanic and a driver in World War II?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
that's crazy. Uh, anyways, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network if you want to support Expansion Pass and a variety of other shows on the platform. It's a subscription service where you can support your favorite creators monthly for a small amount of money, and in return you get some perks. Our $1 tier is our early access tier, where for just $1 a month you get early access to 5 shows. We added Talk the Walk to that list of shows that you get early, so very excited that that's back. I know a lot of people are excited to have that back. So, but at the $5 tier, you can become a Patreon producer. What does that mean? It means you get your name shouted out on this podcast as well as others. So, without further ado, our Patreon producers for this episode of Nintendo Power Block Expansion Pass are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons, and I want to thank all of our free listeners. Remember, all of our content remains free. We just, want to give you a little extra. So, yeah, those are our patrons. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you have Apple Music, or not Apple Music, Amazon Music, you will soon be able to hear Nintendo Power Block on that platform as well. Although I don't know how many people listen to podcasts on Amazon Music, but some people might.
Yeah. Speaking of Apple, I didn't even know they had a event.
Yeah, it
Like,
was to reveal the new phones. I was hoping they were going to reveal the new laptops, but they did not. Although my boss at work says that the new chipsets are being pushed and that it might not be worth waiting. So,
Ooh.
uh,
Okay.
he said that they are an upgrade, but they're not worth waiting for. It's one of those type of things,
Those.
you know.
I'm interested. I kind of want a Surface tablet or a Surface uh computer, but I don't know. Like the last one looked very interesting, but I don't know if like I should go forward with that. I know they one of the guys at Best Buy was one of the Dell representatives was talking about Dell has gotten better with their chip, but I'm like, Dell is still like iffy with me,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, you're asking the wrong person because I only use Apple products except for when we record these podcasts because OBS is easier to operate on Windows.
Mm.
But I just boot my desktop into Boot Camp, and hopefully with a new laptop, I can just leave this. I can leave this computer in Windows mode and just use my laptop as everything else. So,
Well, I got HP, so um, but I'm thinking of like
I
kind
mean,
of up.
to
Oh, go
me,
ahead.
it just like names of computers don't really mean anything to me because to me, everybody just builds their own at this point. You know?
Right, but not and I think I don't know. I think for some reason I trust Microsoft in a sense, in a way. Um, because I feel like Apple is too expensive for me.
Yeah.
For
The thing though, like for me, like I know Apple's really expensive and it's probably way more expensive than it needs to be,
mm,
but my laptop, aside from the battery and my hard drive being full, uh, my laptop has lasted me 9 years.
hmm
And so, like, are you going to pay $1,000 for a computer you're going to replace in 3 or 4 years? Or are you going to, pay, I looked into replacing the battery in this computer and, like, just using it still. But by the time I pay for the battery and service, and it's like almost halfway to another computer at this point. So I'm just like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, So
and definitely with you being a producer and a creative, and like with all the recording and stuff, because I definitely want to be able to at least be up to date. Like actually get something for. I may look into 23 about like if they do like a new Surface tablet or a Surface computer or something, um, to have something that I could be able to stream or like do OBS and all of that stuff. You know, like I want to have that stuff up to date.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think I'm also gonna get an iPad at some point to just have show notes and like I can have stuff processing and editing while we're recording, and then I
yes.
can use my iPad as like a note taker. Uh, but that's all like in the distant future, So like
Yeah.
I, man, I was
I,
really expecting these laptops to be ready to go, but they are just not ready.
I
So,
I hear you. Well, I think
oh well.
I think that's some good tech stuff that we probably need to research and think about just for the future. Because
I
I
mean,
think
I don't need to research it. I've done all the research over the years, and I just look. Here's the thing. Let me tell you, I've had two Windows based PCs built for me, and they both died within a year.
yeah,
So and I spent a lot of money on them,
that's
to
true.
the point where like I could have just gotten an updated Mac and been fine. Right? Like I put a lot of money into those things and had people who, supposedly build computers for a living or do it for people, and you know, it both died within a year.
I rather just buy it from the store.
I have it. I have one of them still in the basement, and it's just that I'm still really salty about that, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So. was the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just be
Anyways,
at best.
and that didn't include monitors, which also made me mad. Like when you ask someone, apparently, when you ask someone to build you a PC and you give them a budget, that does not include monitors, a power plug, or a disk drive. All things which I needed. So I like doubled my budget.
Oh wow! Oh no! Yeah.
But I was also informed that I may or may not have gotten ripped off. So,
well, like I said, I rather just buy it from the store. I think the research part, and we're gonna get into the Zelda talk, everybody. I'm sorry.
I think expansion pass. We're expanding everybody's mind.
Yeah, I think for us as just not just co-founders, but like us as creators and podcasters and producers and stuff, like we kind of need to make sure that we have the right tech for us to be able to do those things, to deliver the content and everything. Because like I would love to stream more Nintendo games, and I think that's what definitely Nintendo needs to have in their next system. I still to this day feel like Nintendo would do very well if they have their own stream service for their games, or just for their platform.
I mean, they kind of already do, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't want streaming. I just don't. I try, like, I have. So for those newer listeners, a couple of months ago, I got the Backbone controller for my phone to stream, like, play Xbox Game Pass games on my phone and Destiny remotely and a couple other things, right? Like, the only thing this works great on is Apple Arcade, which I don't do much of, but I've actually been thinking about re-upping my subscription because it's only $5. But, when cloud gaming is so delayed, like even when I'm playing, like I tried to play Halo the other day.
Yeah.
Just because I hadn't played Halo in a while, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to run through the world and just, shoot some stuff. It was so bad. And I have fiber internet and I have a great, router and all this other stuff. Like,
and fiber internet is supposed to be like fast.
It is fast. It's fast on literally everything except for, this.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's fine. I just, cloud gaming is not where it needs to be, and I am not looking forward to that. So, I mean, but the thing is like, I actually played cloud gaming on my Xbox, like through Game Pass. Like I played some MLB The Show and some NBA 2K through cloud gaming because they were both on Game Pass. And it worked pretty good. Like, it was pretty good. It's when you get to the phone, and like my phone's not a 5G phone, so like that has some things to do with it. But like I was hooked up to my internet, and it was junk.
Still laggy.
So,
I wonder, is Stadia the true cloud gaming service?
I mean, I haven't played Stadia to know, but although I was thinking about it, like I thought about, like, when Stadia came out and like Destiny was running at 60 frames a second on Stadia, I thought about it. I was like, I don't know, cloud gaming doesn't sound appealing, but also Destiny at 60 frames a second does.
I swear Series X feels so good. It feels literally just right.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's the best. Yeah. Gosh, Destiny's so good. Everybody should play Destiny. I convinced Laurent to get Destiny. Did you see that?
We was talking about it on.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it on Boss Rush last night.
Yeah,
that was so fun. I'm glad everybody could come in. I'm glad Jesse came in too.
Yes, everybody. hopefully by the time you see this, you will see our 150 episode of the Boss Rush podcast.
It'll be up. Let's see. It'll be up on Monday for free listeners. No, I don't know. It should be up soon. It'll be up after this goes up. If you're a patron, it's up in 2 days. If you are a free listener, it's up in a week.
Yes.
Also, we changed Boss Rush podcast release day to Monday. I didn't mention that. I need to make a Patreon post about that because I think people are going to expect episode tomorrow and they're not getting one because it's coming out on Monday. So, anyways.
Yes. So,
are we doing? We're not doing very good at this episode.
We're gonna get into this other discussion because, like you said, Corey, with the Nintendo Direct, there's a possibility of it being delayed, which may delay the Zelda news. So, you said that you had a theory for something Zelda related. So I'm going to place this portion in your hand.
Yeah, I have a pretty... I mean, it's not going to be a theory that everybody wants to hear, but I'm thinking that this is what's going to happen. So I'm pretty sure that the Zelda games are coming out separately, right? Like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I've been hearing through the grapevine that this is in case of an emergency break glass kind of moment here. Because I think Breath of the Wild is actually getting pushed to next holiday. And that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess will come out. One will come out this fall and one will come out in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And
we talked about that. Like
we did, but I've actually been reading more into it, and that seems more and more likely that this is what's happening.
Concrete. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, not too excited about that, but my point is like I really think that that will actually probably benefit Nintendo to not be in Q1 next year. I mean, as big as Zelda is, right? Like next spring is just, oh boy.
So I will say Zelda wise, I could see Zelda Breath 2 dropping in the fall. That just, to me personally, that just feels right. Because most Zelda games do come in the fall, around September, October, in a sense. Or even I think November is part of it too. I know Hyrule Warrior, but I wondered, man, did Twilight do November or October?
Is what?
The Twilight Princess, when it originally came out,
it came out in November for Wii and December for GameCube.
Okay, so yeah, so around that era, not that era, around those months, I could see that happening, because I know with Breath of the Wild 1, you know, they were working on Wii U, and then they had a short amount of time to get the Switch version done too, so they was working double time, and I think the delays of it was part of the reason for them to get it on Switch. Excuse me. So now, definitely, when we talked about Monitor Soft with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, what does that lead to Breath 2? With the delays that they need more time to get this game up and polished. Because I think the Xenoblade team, after Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got finished or was going to go, they slowly started moving back to the Breath team to finish that game. Because they had to ramp up production for something. And I think it's because of the delays and the development in Japan at that time was still that people were still working at home. Not many people were at actual Nintendo. I think now a lot of people have gone back to the company to work on the game, which makes them kind of be like, okay, we gotta add and clean up and fix stuff and make sure it's good to go. So I could actually see Twilight. I think what
Well,
what did we say? Twilight Princess dropping first, and then Wind Waker, or
I
vice
mean,
versa?
I think Wind Waker would do better in the spring because I think it's the game more people want. Um,
Hmm.
and I think Twilight Princess is often looked at as the black sheep of the of the 3D Zelda games. I think a lot of people just don't care for it, which is a shame because it's a really great game. Uh, so I don't know. I think Twilight Princess would actually do better this fall because there's literally nothing else coming out for any other console. I know it's competing with other
Yeah.
Switch games, but like Zelda is going to outsell anything else that comes out besides Pokemon, right? So, um, yeah, Twilight Princess I think should be first. Wind Waker in the spring, and then Breath of the Wild 2 in the fall because I think there's going to be a new Switch model next year. And I think they want to do the Metroid Dread thing and launch Breath of the Wild next to a new Switch model.
So pass. So not a new light edition, not like light OLED or
No,
anything like that.
it's gonna be the beefier version that everybody thought the OLED version was going to be. And Breath of the Wild is going to run on on your current Switch at 30 frames a second and look great and whatever, but on the new version, it's going to have a higher frame rate, it's going to have better draw distance, it's going to on your TV, I think it's going to be a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner, higher resolution, maybe 1440p, maybe 1080p because
Well,
Breath of the Wild 1 only hit
do
900p.
you do you think it's going to be some new chips in there
Yeah,
in the system?
I think it's gonna be the equivalent of a new 3DS. I think to the 3DS. I think it's gonna have a little bit more processing power. I think it's gonna have more internal storage. I think there's going to be. I think maybe even the dock might have some power in it at this point.
Hmm.
I just I think it's time. I think Nintendo really wants to keep the Switch going. And the Switch Lite's still going to exist. I think they're going to phase out the normal.
The normal one.
Yeah. I
I think
think
I think was
what?
Oh, I was just saying, I think once the chip shortage is over with, because I don't think they're having. I mean, they said they're having a little bit problems, or a little bit is rolling out
I mean,
slowly.
the thing with Nintendo's chips though is like they're so like there's the technology in the Switch is so old that nobody else is using them. So that's why
Yeah,
Nintendo's getting them easily and they're getting them dirt cheap.
yeah, because I know they've been looking into some new chips to customize, and I
Well,
think, and
it's the Nvidia stuff, right? And then it's
yeah,
it's the new Tegra chips, I think. Well, like the ones that are out now,
yes,
which is usually used for tablets and stuff. But
because I really think that, and I know we talked about this. I'm just like, man, Nintendo needs to prepare for Unreal 5.
I
I
don't know
think
why I don't know why you're so obsessed with
when
Unreal 5, dude.
I
Nobody,
think
I just
I
that
think
has nothing to do with it. It's scalable. The Unreal 5 is already running on the current Switch model. It's
yeah,
already running on it. Fortnite runs on it.
but I
Uh,
think people are going to expect that if this system is beefier, anything that's running like Unreal 5, like other engines from other games should be on it. So now we shouldn't have a problem getting like a re-release of Control. It shouldn't be a cloud version. We shouldn't get well, I will say Kingdom Hearts, but that's Square wouldn't do that. I think a lot of games that's been on cloud should now be able to run on Switch with a physical or digital version, because the engines now can run on the system. There's no way that if the new Switch or Switch Pro or Switch Elite or whatever we want to call it, if it is beefier to have these engines, it should be able to run games a little bit better, for some sense. Now, I I think I would definitely put my money down on getting a Switch Elite, um, for Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, I would still
Well,
have
yeah.
my OLED. I still would have my OLED, but if I could see the difference in it and everything, and if this more power really helps that game run, it makes it look better. Oh yes, it's a, like you said, a Metroid thing. Um, I might have to go to Wisconsin to get it to get it, but I would be down for that. Now I'm not saying that I um
I just think
go
like
ahead.
Nintendo really wants to extend the Switch's lifespan.
Yeah.
They really do, and I think like with Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Prime 4 and whatever Monolith's next project is, and there's so many different games that could like utilize the technology in a new console. Like even if it's like it doesn't, I'm not asking for a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X level update. We're never going to have
No.
that for Nintendo. But like what I am asking for is just like I just want my Nintendo games to run smoothly. I want it to be powerful enough to have the third party support that we've expected now,
Yeah.
right? Like I mean, if you're going to have Overwatch and Diablo 4 on this thing, or you know, what Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter game come out on this
Yeah.
thing, or whatever Ubisoft wants to put out, like you're going to have a little bit more power. You're going to have to keep them around. I mean, you could always make the
And
I mean, you could always make the
and,
deals
and
to have them make games for you, right? Like you could always do that,
right.
right? Like Mario Rabbids and Starlink and that kind of thing. But like
And
you need to have the power to keep Bethesda around, to keep Microsoft coming back and saying, "Hey, we want to put stuff here," or I just think you need it.
and I think you definitely like Panic Button. Panic Button right now is super important to Nintendo
I
when it comes to supporting games. And I think with more power, they can help companies bring their games over if they decide to go that way or anything. Because like, and I think we go back to Panic Button a lot is because they're just talented. They have been able to really figure out the switch in any puzzle that they can't think of. They find a solution to get a game to run on Switch. They figure out the solution. Oh, we could do this and do that. And uh yeah, some stuff might take a graphical hit here and there, but I think Switch owners are used to that. But with a powerful Switch, I think Panda Bundle would be like, yeah, we could really bring these games over with no problem. We'll learn the system, make your game, and I think that solves the discussion that we had about Nintendo games getting delayed months after its initial release.
right.
If the power, and I agree with you, if the power is there, there should be no excuse why a Switch version should be delayed over the other two versions. I think if the power is there, they should be able to get all three versions out.
Yeah. I mean,
And
my thing is too though is like if the Switch has had a little bit more power, we wouldn't have waited a year for Doom Eternal, right? We would have gotten it,
hmm
I mean, maybe not right away, but we could have gotten it probably in 3 to 6 months, you know? And that's what's so, I don't want to say upsetting, but that's what's so like, just, I don't, I don't
I
know.
think I think it's all going to that discussion, but we're gonna still keep it Zelda related. I think the thing about it is that it's always a thing with Nintendo that they are the last when it comes to being focused on the game. They are the last ones to get the focus. We'll finish and complete the game for the other systems because there's an expectation that will sell better. Even though, well, PC I won't count. But when it comes to Nintendo, we're worried, so we might do some units and not. I think with Switch, it's still that expectancy, but it's kind of lessened. Like even when Bethesda was putting stuff on Switch, like Bethesda was shocked to see how Doom 2016 was doing on Switch. Like, and we talked about that. them selling 1 million units and seeing to be like, oh, even Skyrim doing well on Switch and everything. It was just like that was a shot. You know, just seeing that doubts that they had for that Switch when it first began has kind of been overcame. Like there's no way that you could doubt because you're seeing a lot of success for it with a Switch Elite. There should be no concerns, no worries. If they're showing Breath of the Wild 2 is used as the example to show off what this new system is doing or this new iteration of Switch is doing, there should be no doubt that your game should not be on that console or anything.
Mm-hmm.
There should be definitely with EA. There should be no doubt. If Breath of the Wild 2 is dropping amazing, and even if we put Twilight Princess and Wind Waker and it get upgraded on Elite, you should not be like, oh, they really brought the power. There should be no way that you still not putting games on it. Mass Effect Legacy should not be just waiting for a powerful system for Nintendo. If Switch Elite could do it, that thing needs to be on it.
Yeah, I mean the thing too is like I'm really happy for like a lot of the games that come to Switch and stuff, right? And I'm happy for the games that do come over, but like, man, I'm kind of tired of the Switch being the console that's like, oh, it's got great Xbox 360 ports, right? Like of Saints Row 3 when, the new Saints Row just came out. I mean, I don't know if that's a great example or not. I haven't played the new one, but I know you liked it, but like I don't. Well, the grand consensus is that it's not a great game. But the fact that like we didn't get it on Switch at all is kind of like oh man, a bummer. It's kind of a bummer, and I know that I'm complaining about something that like, oh, you have an Xbox Series X, why don't you just get it there? I get it, but like I want to take my games on the go, and what if I want to play a game that I can't play on my Switch on the go, Like I know that's like a random problem to have and it's first world problem, but like God knows I have enough Switch games to keep hold me over, but like I'm in a big Destiny kick right now. And I can't really play it on the go, and it kind of sucks.
It's a business, of course, it's a business thing, but I completely don't understand why you have talented developers, engineers, and stuff that can't figure out to get a game on Switch. If Saints Row literally dropped on Switch and it was decent enough, like even if it looked and played like Saints Row the Third or Saints Row the Fourth, I bet you more people will get into that game, because the thing about it is going to be like if Volition starts seeing stories of Nintendo life, like publishing great stories about it, and more sales are coming from Switch, that would give you a clue that more third party needs to come to the system. Make sure that the quality is well and good enough, and people will be more interested in probably picking up the product. Nintendo has proven for the last 5 years about Switch being a great console to play games. I mean, there's been some problems. There's been some discussions about it, but there's been a great healthy supply of games on that console, which leads to great healthy sales. Yes, we're going to buy Twilight Princess and Wind Waker for the umpteenth time. Why? Because
only the fourth time, Ed. Come on now.
That is true. But outside of being just a Nintendo first party or anything, people want to enjoy that game on the go. People want to see if Nintendo does anything different, and people just want to have that connection of the game, because maybe in the future we may never get Twilight Princess or Wind Waker ever again, unless it's on the service.
Well, this is the thing too. Is like, I think I think Nintendo has to be real careful about, like, I mean, this is what we're talking about too now, is like backwards compatibility is like a real thing again, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and Nintendo's always been pretty decent at like last gen being backwards. I mean, obviously Switch is not backwards compatible with Wii U, but like, you know, the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii. The Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube. The DS was backwards compatible with the GBA. 3DS, you know what I mean? Like they have a history of at least supporting the previous platform on the current one. Now, I mean, you could say that all the best Wii U games are on the Switch, but you have to pay $60 for them, which, whatever, fine. The Wii U's a great console, but where was I going with this? Oh, like with digital distribution being such a massive part of games now, Nintendo really has to take into consideration their digital platform again, because they've never really had to do this. And like, okay, the 3DS and Wii U, like they get a pass because digital distribution wasn't exactly like, in accounts and stuff, like, weren't exactly a real thing yet. I mean,
Yes.
I would argue that Xbox did it best early on, right? Where they cut off the original Xbox from their Xbox Live, and they basically built Xbox Live 2.0, and that's what everything after the original Xbox is running on, right? And like your Microsoft account across the board is like, okay, yeah, so all my Xbox games, all my PC games for Windows are all linked to this one account, right? No matter what platform I'm playing on, these games are linked to this account. And you know, Microsoft has probably done it best. PlayStation, little shaky on that ground, but like, you know, starting with the PlayStation 4, everything moving forward, you will be able, theoretically be able to play on the next PlayStation, you know? And Switch is kind of like in this spot where if they don't do that now, people are going to give Nintendo a really hard time with that.
Yeah.
And if the next console doesn't have a Switch cartridge port, people are going to be mad. If it doesn't support your digital library that you've purchased, I mean, shoot, I can't tell you how many Switch games I have digitally, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like, if like you're going to tell me that platform's just dead to me now, you know? And like, what scares me and why I started getting physical copies again of games is because what if a Wii U and 3DS situation happens again? You know, like and granted, I think, and I remember talking about it on Pow Block at one point where Nintendo was developing their Nintendo account system, right? And I think it was somewhere in the transition of the Wii U and the Switch, those early episodes.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just saying, if your digital library doesn't carry over and your Nintendo Switch Online stuff does not carry over, there's going to be a big problem, and that's going to really hurt Nintendo's next console.
Japan has to look at the American market and Europe. They have to really look at the market across all three, their own, America, and Europe. And you got to realize how the digital space is important to gaming in just general. If you buy something and you want to play on your next platform, it is the next version, or I'll say next version of backwards compatibility. But people have invested into your system, into this ecosystem, and into this account system where they have bought games. So yeah, I can understand if it takes time to get it figured out for your next platform, take the time that you need. Or if you still got that good relationship with Microsoft, talk to them. Get to talking. There's got to be some way that in this industry, in the gaming industry, that even though y'all not trying to compete or anything, there is going to be someone that can help out. Microsoft, yes, I agree with you. Microsoft is probably the best. Why? Because they are not only a hardware company with PC, but they are a software company. They have some of the best engineers when it comes to the digital landscape. So you guys got it good with them. Figure out how they can help. There's no reason why in this age they can't help Nintendo in a sense. Because they I'm not saying that they're trying to be like, oh, we're helping you to be a better company. No, we know that you guys are part of
Here's
this.
here.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, here's my thing. Is like Nintendo needs a better online service, and they need a company to come in and help them build it, right? And like you're saying, like someone like Microsoft could go in and help Nintendo build an online infrastructure without affecting the Xbox program, right? Because that's what Microsoft does, right? That's part of Microsoft's business is setting up networks for people, setting up account services for people, And I think it would, and I don't know what's going on in Nintendo in terms of account services, right? Like me as as somebody who tries to look at things optimistically, I'm hoping that they've taken the steps to not make what we're talking about here an issue, and like this will be just like a wasted episode 3-5 years from now. But if they didn't, the pessimist in me is like, it's Nintendo. They're going to make us buy all these games all over again at some point.
Right.
They're going to end up on some sort of subscription service, or it's just people are going to be so mad, man, and I don't want to be here for it.
Right. And I think that's why if they're bringing in young blood or new business and everything, they have to look at the market is changing in the gaming space. Yes, are.
I mean, I think they know that though, like, right? I mean, that's why they tried mobile games. That's why they. I mean, that's that. I actually think the leadership team the younger leadership team Nintendo has in place now is actually doing a lot of great things, expanding IP into other mediums, right? Like,
yes.
I mean, I think the Mario movie, I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but like at least they're trying. The theme park stuff, the toys, I think they're doing some smart things, and I think their younger leadership team is smart enough to do that. But
yeah, I agree. I just with the Switch Elite or Switch Pro, I keep calling it Elite. I don't know. That really is going to be the test, because what if Switch Elite is the update version for their online service, and they say, hey, thanks to Microsoft, we've been able to do this? Because I don't think that's going to hurt Nintendo if Microsoft work with them to get it. I mean, they're helping Sony with, I think, their cloud Azure or something. Like Microsoft helped Sega with the Dreamcast. Like we remember that. Like, yes, Microsoft has their own, and they want to kind of stand out in the online service, which is great for Microsoft. That works for them. But if they are willing to help something and not ask for anything in return, maybe some royalties or whatever, how that goes. I know Nintendo, you got to think outside of Japan and just be like, well, what we have in Japan is not in America or Europe. So what is going to be universal? And if Microsoft is one of the companies that's universal, then yes, do it. Because what if Breath of the Wild 2 have some online stuff, and their online thing is not up to snuff? But if they have something like Xbox Live or whatever Microsoft wants to bring to Nintendo, and that fixes the problem, that's going to give Nintendo an idea to be like, okay, we really need to work with you guys and see what can you do for our online service and everything.
Yeah.
Because, like I kind of feel like Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a big test if a Switch Elite releases for just everything. Is it going to be like, this is how it's running, or how games could run, on the system using these kind of graphics. This is the online feature with our netcode and stuff, and thanks to Microsoft, they have came in and helped us upgrade our online service, to deliver quality experience. Like, that's going to be big, because I think once Microsoft starts doing stuff with Nintendo, that's going to catch a whole bunch of eyes of third party getting in. And if you are not caught by that, that's going to give some good concerns to gamers to be like, okay, they're with one of the best online services with Microsoft. Why you don't have your stuff on here by that time?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they've been proven, if they prove all of that stuff just because of Breath of the Wild 2, we should be seeing future games from you third parties on this new Nintendo console. And they could update the stuff for OLED too, or even light or whatever. Like, there's so many opportunities from Breath of the Wild 2 outside of the game itself that could happen on the Nintendo console.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry if I sound fired up, because I'm excited about this possibility.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's like a lot we could potentially be excited about, but there's also a lot of concern. Like we're 6 years into this console, right? And it's built on, like, it's barely as powerful as like a base Xbox One, maybe, right? And so, like, I do have a lot of concerns. I'm concerned because, like, in 3 years we might have a new console, and I just don't want a Wii U situation again where, like, we don't have any third-party support. We have great first-party games, but no one buys the console because Nintendo's making us buy all these games again. And they have a bad online system. Like, I feel like we have the same conversation. Like, I feel like we've had it at least twice already. Like, in the grand scheme of things. And I just don't want to do it again. I think I'm really concerned about Nintendo's future. I love what they're doing now. I'm concerned about the future. And I mean, let's hope that they, let's just hope that they know what they're doing, I guess.
Mario Kart alone outside of Zelda would be another test. So, because, like, I'll be like, you guys can't bring Mario Kart 8 to this next console.
No, it's got to be a new Mario Kart. Look, I get it. The last Mario Kart 8 is amazing, and they made one of the best best Mario Karts of all time. It is the best Mario Kart in my opinion. But and the DLC and stuff, that's great. But what they need to do with Mario Kart, and people are going to hate me for this, they need a Fortnite model for this. It needs to be free to play. They need a battle pass with cool things in the battle pass. And then they need event skins, right? That's the way you go with Mario Kart from a business perspective. And I know people are going to just roll their eyes at that or, scream at the TV or whatever, unsubscribe. I don't care. That's what Nintendo needs to do for Mario Kart. Free to play forever, right? And add characters through battle passes, get some third-party characters in there, like get Pac-Man in there, get
that BMW.
do a Sonic racing crossover event.
Dude, don't Sonic, you know how much people would invest in that?
Do it like once Microsoft buys Activision, do a Crash Team Racing crossover event. Get Banjo in there. I don't care what you do. I would actually pay additional money for Nintendo Switch Online, even if they gave all of that free. I mean, I think you're going to need Nintendo Switch Online regardless to play this, yes, right? But, like, if you're an expansion pack subscriber, maybe you get some bonus stuff, like bonus costumes. Like, every couple months you get a couple costumes for subscribing to expansion pack, or like when they could do it like Smash too, where like if a new game is coming out, do an event around that game. Like if there's a Metroid, like new Metroid game coming out, do a Metroid season pass, right? Where, Samus is part of the battle pass, and maybe you do like Samus skin upgrades through the battle pass, right? Like maybe you start with like the like in Dread, you start with the blue suit and then you move up to like the white and orange suit, and then you keep moving up and up and up. And then like if you complete the battle pass, you get Zero Suit Samus.
And the crazy thing about that, Corey, is Nintendo makes all of that reasonable with its prices. Like a $30 battle pass or a $20 battle pass for 4 months or something that you're getting content. People will pay that.
I know.
I'm like, just going back to Mario Kart 8 when they did the DLC for like $13. Dude, people was like,
look, yes. I mean, this chunk of Mario Kart 8 DLC is $25 for 48 tracks. Now,
that's
granted,
insane.
I haven't really been blown away by a lot of the tracks. I think there's like 2 that are great, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I think $25 for 48 tracks is pretty amazing in terms of pricing. They could have charged $40 for that, and people would have paid it.
Dude, the pricing would just be amazing. Like I would literally be like, okay, where is the digital? Well, maybe a digital bundle, but of course I would definitely want a physical. I'd be like, what is the price that I need to pay? If this is a regular $60 thing that I'm getting, then I would pay $60 for 2 years of a battle pass. Or heck, do what Destiny is doing.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, like, yes, you are paying more money, but I would pay $40 for, like, here's a whole year's worth of content if you pay $40. These are the 4 seasons, blah, blah, blah. These are the characters. These are the events. In fact, because if you pay early with $40 or, for it, you get this event or something early or whatever, or this demo early. If you are an NSO member, if you buy this pack as an NSO member, let's just say, or something, you get double coins for just buying the battle pass. So instead of getting 80, you actually get 160 or 120 or something like 10% bonus or something. Like,
yeah,
Nintendo's good at rewarding stuff and everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of good things you could do. I think there's a lot of interesting things you could do monetizing, right? And like, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the next Smash either, but you could totally do something like that with Smash as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think Nintendo's in a really interesting and weird position, and they are in perfect position to capitalize on this perfectly weird position. Will they? I don't know. Track records say they don't really capitalize on things, but it's a new leadership team. It's a new regime, right? Like, Reggie's been gone. Iwata's been gone. I feel like Aonuma and Miyamoto are kind of like legacy employees at this point, right? I think Nintendo's in a great position to move forward. Don't get me wrong, I love everything that Miyamoto and Aonuma and Iwata did for the company and Reggie, right? Like, I feel like at this point, like, the legacy personnel are finally not holding Nintendo back. Yeah. And we're going to start seeing that soon. Because, like, don't forget, like, the Switch, as amazing as it is Iwata's idea, and you're seeing it. You're seeing his legacy through this console, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I want to see what Nintendo leadership can do now.
Yeah. The next console is going to prove it. I think Shoot, Breath of the Wild 2 with a Nintendo Elite. Like I said, I keep saying it, but like if you really gonna give it that good insight, like really make it powerful, hey, do it. Even though Microsoft kind of owns Elite, so and PlayStation owns Pro, Nintendo probably do something like a DX or whatever, or a new Nintendo Switch.
No,
They'll
please
probably
don't do that. Please don't. Nintendo, I'm begging you. Please don't use new Nintendo Switch.
Uh,
Please.
so, or Switch XL or whatever they decide to do. Um, I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to do it because man, like Nintendo could fall back for 23. They could do Wind Waker, Metroid Prime, Mario, whatever, and Breath of the Wild. Like they don't really, personally, they really don't have to worry about spring in the sense. Yes, bring out Wind Waker. You want to bring out one game in the support, do it because Microsoft and Sony got too much work that they need to start producing and get out. So let them be the focus on the Wild, and y'all just fall back and work on whatever. Because trust me, that a Switch Elite that's Zelda Limited Edition, people are gonna go for it. With Breath of the Wild 2, whether it's digital or physical, people are gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they got a lot going on for it, heck yeah. Or even if you want to do Mario Kart 9 for it, like I feel like Switch Elite could lead into a strong lineup like they did 2017. We're releasing it. Just a strong lineup one from this is the new Switch version. These are all the games that's followed. It's also backwards compatible with your digital and your physical games. In fact, if you play it on it, your games kind of up-res or get updated. It'll recognize it, bam, do the update, and it's playing better than what you normally. Because trust me, Digital Foundry is going to go bananas on this, and everybody's going to be watching it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are excited for the future of Nintendo because they have the most to gain,
Yeah.
Even though the Switch has been successful, they have the most to gain out of everybody.
Yep. Now, just give me my Twilight Princess and my Wind Waker, because I'm
glad that's what we talked about tonight.
Well, I mean, you do bring up an interesting like theory, Corey, with Breath of the Wild 2 hitting in the fall and a new system version, I should say, accompanying it. That's I could see it now because, like you said, it opens up a lot of possibilities if they're going to upgrade it. Yes, I talked about Unreal 5, but I'm like, if they're going to future-proof this system before they really bring out their next console, Nintendo is in a place where they could do it. Because you already going to have people to be like, well, I just bought my OLED. Well, I'm still going to upgrade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, if the old Nintendo Switch phase it out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the step, right? Is like you phase out the old one, drop the price of the OLED to $300 and put the new one out at $350.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go higher than $350 for the new one. Because, I mean, Xbox is already selling that Series S for $100 cheaper than that in some cases. I saw an Xbox Series S deal of the day. It was a Series S with, I think, 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for $227.
That's not bad.
No, that's an amazing deal. By the way, I've played more of my Series S the last 6 months than I have. I don't remember the last time I turned on my Series X. I mean, I again though. I mean, I only play Destiny on my Xbox at this point. So, not that that's gonna stick, right? But like, I was looking through Game Pass the other day, and I was forcing myself to download stuff, because I don't use it. I don't use Game Pass. The only game I have downloaded that I have maybe tried recently was Halo and MLB The Show and NBA 2K22.
Because you have EA also, don't
Uh-huh.
you?
Yeah, and I also played Madden for 2 games and I deleted it instantly. Madden's not very good again this year, by the way, everybody.
I do. I could be two things I could say about Madden. I didn't know that it came out, and I'm not hearing anyone talk about it.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I, I didn't even get a chance to see the review scores for Madden. I don't even know where it stands at. Like I even been on Metacritic to see
Hmm.
what the average score is. I'm like,
It's not good.
it,
I think it's hovering around like a 78 or something. Which I mean isn't bad, but like I just remember in like 2000, I would say like 2003, 2004, 2005,
mm,
2006, Madden was like even non-football fans were talking about Madden, right? Like Madden was it was revolutionary. When Madden was on PS2 and GameCube, like Madden was revolutionary
yeah,
in
yeah,
terms of graphics and features and like just the way the game played. And once it jumped from the PS2 generation to the PS3 generation, like I feel like they were so focused on graphics and animations that they forgot what made the game fun, you know? To the point where like I had an Xbox 360 for years and I still bought Madden on PS2 because it played better and felt better, you know?
and definitely when they killed NFL 2K because they got the license, like
Yeah,
it
but
was.
that's not what killed Madden. I mean
Well,
that's not what made
I
Madden
mean,
bad.
the reason why I bring it up is because I feel like once they secured the NFL thing, you know, it kind of felt like they started to get lazy, um, in a sense. And I agree with you,
Well,
doing they where the
the
focus was
I
going on.
I wouldn't say lazy because like I mean, you look at the typical game development span now, right? It's like 4 to 5 years now instead of 2, right? Remember, like in what 8 years we got the entire Uncharted trilogy and The Last of Us out of Naughty Dog, and then it was like 4 or 5 years between Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us 2. I'm not different types of games, but I'm just saying like game development has gotten harder, and I think sports developers have the hardest job in all of game development because they have to put out a
Hmm.
new product every night. Like they have to get the game out like a month before the season starts. They have a live team to update rosters all the time, while the other half of the team is already like trying to put together the next game. And you can only do a couple new things here and there because you only have like 9 or 10 months to work on this thing. you know
Yeah,
so they have a really hard job, and I respect them for that. I just I don't know what happened between like I just don't know. Like it doesn't when you move in Madden, it just doesn't feel good to move. It doesn't feel good to like play. The UI, like the user interface is really complicated. It seems like overly complicated for some reason. And it's just I don't know. I think sports games though are the next games that are going to be the service games, you know.
yeah. Because everybody, I know a lot of people just like start with just doing updated rosters. You could still keep the game and
Well,
graphics and all of that stuff. Just update the roster. That's what a lot of people are asking for now.
well the
And then
thing the thing
start
is
doing
is like
patches and all of that.
the thing is if you made these games free to play, like you would get more people in and maybe they would like the game and then you would make the money on the ultimate team stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like cuz like instead of selling 10 million copies and you know 15% of those players buying the ultimate team stuff, or 20 or whatever the number is, you can get 30 or 40 million people in. And even if the percentage went dipped like 2%, that's like the percentage of people would dip, but the amount of people buying the ultimate team cards, or whatever else you can buy in that game is like incredibly high.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think what Konami is doing with their eFootball game is the way to do it. I think they're trying to figure it out and they haven't really executed very well. But if you're going to, I think that's the way you do sports games moving forward. Although NBA 2K and Madden still sell monster numbers and FIFA still sells monster numbers and NHL still sells. So like, maybe I'm just an idiot, but anyways.
Well, Craig, I think we should wrap it up there.
Yeah.
That was a good discussion.
Yeah, and we didn't even really get to the topic. It was just kind of,
But I think with like I said, I agree with you with a lot of stuff about definitely with Zelda because if it happens, man, that's going to be a discussion to have.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those to be like, Corey, you was right.
I try to be,
Okay.
I like to think I'm smart sometimes.
You are. So. Well, Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Boss Rush Podcast, Pow Block, Standard Definition, Tower Casuals, and various other things here on the Boss Rush Network.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at that retro code. Catch me in Discord, all the Boss Rush stuff, website, and everything. Just keeping it short. This episode. And with that, everybody, we will see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass, not Power Block.
It's all the same at this point.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a Power Block Doc Mode episode, but man, everybody,
we should just do this every episode. Like Power Block is like 3 or 4 of these conversations, and then Expansion Pass is just 1 or 2 of these conversations.
That is true. Everybody, if by the time you guys see this, if there is a Nintendo Direct and it's not delayed, we're going to try to get something out for you guys.
Oh yeah, there'll be a Direct recap show for sure.
Oh yes.
I mean, if it happens on like a Wednesday, I will stay up and record it. And it will not be one of these little 20-minute ones. It'll probably be longer than a normal episode.
Yeah. Because man, if games that we are not expecting appear, it's going to be one. I know we're going to be looking for the Wind Waker and for the Zelda stuff. Whatever drops from Zelda, we'll definitely be talking. But with that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.